You've seen lots of crazy crashes on Wham Bam Dashcam, but you've never seen an SUV get T-boned by a school bus until today. That and 19 other exclusive Dashcam videos are coming up, so hold on tight. Mounish was taking his wife to the airport with his brother along for the ride when his Dodge Durango was T-boned by a school bus as it ran a red light. The impact of the school bus, which contained nobody except the driver by the way, was hard enough to spin Mounish's Durango completely around. Sadly, the collision totaled the SUV and Mounish's wife didn't make her flight. His dashcam footage clearly shows the bus didn't get a green light until after the collision. But police told Mounish they would have assigned Mounish the blame for the collision if not for his dashcam video. Mounish told us that after watching our videos, he installed his dashcam only 2 weeks before this happened. Thanks to the video proof that Mounish was in the right, the bus driver was found responsible for the collision. Karen was waiting for her turn at a traffic light when the driver of an Infiniti decided they didn't want to wait. Watch what happened when they went around Karen and ran the red light to turn left. An oncoming driver with a green light T-boned the turning car, sending both cars spinning as debris went flying. Karen told us she called the police, then provided them with a copy of her dashcam footage. She doesn't know what else happened after that, but thankfully, it doesn't look like anyone was seriously injured. Doug was on his way home from work when he watched a white minivan cruise straight through an intersection from a turn-only lane. And he told us this wasn't the first time he'd seen this particular driver do this. What made this time special was the instant justice the minivan driver received. Doug told us this maneuver is made by many drivers every day at this location, so we imagine seeing a driver get pulled over for it must have been satisfying. Paul's dashcam captured another driver pit maneuvering themselves off the front of a semi-truck when they failed to check their blind spot before changing lanes. Paul told us he saw the SUV go off-roading after the collision, and when he saw others pulling over, he called 911 before continuing. He also plans to call the trucking company and provide them with a copy of his footage. This submitter had a cop driving right behind her when she spotted an SUV driver making an illegal turn in spite of a clearly posted sign. Our submitter honked her horn to alert the officer, and it worked. He took off after the scofflaw to serve up some instant justice. Shayna was about to follow traffic into an intersection with a green light when a car from the left came flying into the intersection, tires screeching. The red light runner was able to slow down enough to avoid slamming into any other vehicles before they weaved their way through traffic to continue. Shayna said watching just one of our videos convinced her to get a dashcam. She told us it's like insurance you only pay for once, and she has no regrets. If you still need a dashcam, check the description to get a discount on the models our team uses in our own vehicles. Stu watched the driver ahead of him make an unprotected left turn through a yellow light before getting struck by an oncoming pickup truck. Discerning viewers might have noticed that the pickup driver's light had turned red by the time he'd entered the intersection. Even though the car only had a yellow light, this collision was still the pickup driver's fault. Darren was driving down an Alabama highway when he watched an SUV ahead of him run over a full garbage bag. The impact made the garbage bag explode and sent debris flying all over the highway. Darren told us he pulled over to check for damage to his Scion FRS, but thankfully, he didn't find any. This submitter was traveling at 55 miles per hour when an SUV driver cruised through a stop sign in front of him. Even though our submitter hit the brakes and swerved, he couldn't avoid being T-boned by the Toyota. Our submitter is left wondering if he should have swerved right instead of left. What do you think? Should he have tried to go behind the SUV instead of in front of it? Thankfully, nobody was injured. Our submitter and his wife called 911, then waited for a state trooper to arrive before exchanging information. The trooper cited the SUV driver for running the stop sign. Our submitter is thankful both drivers had the same insurance provider, so the claim process has been smooth so far. The current repair estimate of $1,500 will probably go up if his door ends up getting replaced. Mason was headed down a highway at 60 miles per hour in his Chevy Tahoe SUV when he suddenly saw a pedestrian standing in his lane. Mason said the bright lights from the gas station ahead were blinding him, and he barely had time to swerve around the woman once he spotted her. He told us he pulled over down the road to calm down before he continued. He also said that, looking back, he thinks he should have gone back to see if the lady needed help. He hopes his video will remind our viewers to pay attention while driving. David is a biker who was riding his motorcycle with friends when he heard tires screeching before seeing a car spin out of control on the highway. The out-of-control car smacked the guardrail before stopping. David doesn't know what happened, and he couldn't see if contact had been made with any other vehicles. He told us he tried to ask the driver if he was okay as he rode past, but he just started driving away. Given his vulnerability as a motorcycle rider, David decided to continue on after the driver ignored his attempt to help. Travis was driving down a road where the right lane ends and is replaced with a bike lane. An island goes across the lane to force drivers to merge left and protect cyclists. But a Tesla behaving badly didn't get the memo. A speeding Model 3 slammed into the island, launching it into the air and rupturing both passenger side tires. Travis told us the impact probably destroyed the rims, and he saw debris go flying. Moments later, the leaning Model 3 pulled over into a police station parking lot while the driver ahead of Travis honked at them. He doesn't know if they were intoxicated, distracted, or just a terrible driver. Hassan was on his way home after picking up his nephew from school when he noticed the pickup truck ahead of him swerving into oncoming traffic. The pickup struck a parked SUV and an oncoming van before it turned back and finally stopped in the middle of the street. Hassan stopped to make sure everyone was okay, and thankfully, nobody had been hurt. He provided the van driver with a copy of his dashcam footage, but the owner of the parked SUV never appeared. So he left a note for them. Hassan is grateful his brother had installed a dashcam in his van, which Hassan was borrowing. Hassan doesn't have a vehicle of his own, but he told us that after years of watching Wham Bam videos, he definitely plans to buy a Tesla in the future. One of us, one of us, one of us. This submitter was driving down a highway in Georgia shortly after a snowstorm in his Toyota Tundra equipped with all-terrain tires. He told us he was going around 35 to 40 miles per hour when he started to lose control. Incredibly, he was able to regain control without hitting any traffic or any barriers. This just goes to show how important it is to not become overconfident in your vehicle during winter weather conditions. Be careful out there. Ari had come to a complete stop for traffic when her Volvo S60 was suddenly rear-ended. Ari told us the driver who hit her was intoxicated, and police arrested him when they responded. The impact totaled her Volvo, and the insurance settlement went completely to paying off the rest of her car loan. She wanted to shout out her fiancé Kevin, as well as his family members Chrissy and Chloe, and her own father Andrew. She told us they've always been there for her. Watch what happened while Austin was on his way to work. The Acura SUV ahead of him ran over a piece of semi-truck tire tread, launching it at Austin's Toyota RAV4. With another vehicle in the lane next to him, he wasn't able to swerve around it. He's still waiting on an estimate to repair his front bumper cover, which was damaged and marred by the impact with the tire tread. This submitter had just picked up food for him and his girlfriend a few hours after getting brand new tires put on his Ford Flex. Watch what happened as he carefully made his way through a parking lot. The driver of a Cadillac SUV T-boned our submitter's SUV as he drove past her. Thankfully, nobody was injured, but the impact totaled his Ford Flex after the repair quote reached $7,000. The Cadillac driver's insurance cut him a settlement check, which he used to purchase a Chevy Malibu. Remember, a vehicle being totaled just means the insurance provider would rather write a check than pay to fix the damage. Yusuf was following a friend to West Palm Beach when a Honda Insight that looks like it had already been T-boned once before suddenly pulled across the road in front of him. Yusuf slammed on his brakes and honked, sending his water and snacks flying. Thankfully, he avoided colliding with the Helpless hybrid, and he and his friend arrived safely at their destination 4 hours later. Yusuf wanted to shout out his friends Yaya and Zizo, who were in the Z3 ahead of him, and he wanted to shout us out for inspiring him to put a dashcam in his 328i. Brian watched a silver car pull into traffic when it wasn't clear before getting rear-ended by a white Infiniti. The Infiniti was sent off the right side of the road into a gas station driveway while the silver car went across an island into oncoming lanes, flattening a sign. It then drove into a parking lot, hopped a curb, and hit a fire hydrant. It finally came to a stop after running over some bushes and into another parking lot, but our submitter told us the driver then fled the scene. Thankfully, he also told us they were later located by the police. Chris had just installed a dashcam in his Ram 1500, and an hour later, he encountered this confused deer in the road. He told us the buck's reaction to his honking made him laugh. Chris told us he continued home without incident, and he also told us that he too was inspired by our channel to get a dashcam. If you're a fan of our videos, consider subscribing so you never miss an episode. You should also consider watching this video you've never seen before. Oh yeah, I love that one! If you're new to the channel, you'll definitely want to watch our newest episode here. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again next week.
Wham, bam, we got a Patreon man. Please support the show.